What's up, everybody? Hello, Facebook and Instagram.
Hey.
All right, it's time for yet another. It's week 7 of Wednesday.
I can't believe it's been
We're going
7 weeks.
almost 2 months with this. Almost 2 months. Make sure you like and share this feed, guys. I got Natalie coming on
7 of Wednesday.
on Facebook. All right, I see you coming on now. All right,
Nice.
fam. What up? Happy Wednesday.
Like and share
We
this
try to
feed.
bring to you some
We're
other
ready.
topics, talking about clarity, talking about
Facebook.
finding your purpose. Oh, there you go, Natalie.
Happy Wednesday. Super excited to bring to you some other topics talking about clarity.
All right, we're talking about clarity and purpose. There you go, sis. What's up?
Yes, hey, I'm here. So
What's my thing?
excited. Yes. Let me make sure I get centered on IG like I am on Facebook and YouTube.
All right, fam. What's up? It's your boy Chef Jay and clarity coach of all coaches, Natalie Lee
Hey,
Frank.
how you doing? I'm so excited to be here. As always, I love doing these lives with Chef Jay. He's awesome and consistent.
Yo, let's talk about that part first. Like, it's so hard to find consistency when it comes to doing certain things. Like, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you feel like alone. Like, man, I want to do this, but I can't find consistency with the people that I work with. But the thing about it is, if you just keep doing what you got to do, consistency and those people will come. I think we focus on what we don't have a lot.
I got to
Oh, you're good.
do not disturb. Yes.
We focus too much of what we don't have opposed to what we do have.
That's so good. I love that you said you got to keep going and the people will come. And a lot of times we, especially myself, and I had to learn how to grow out of this, is I didn't want to do it alone. One, I had to be honest, I was afraid. And then two, I don't like going to the next level by myself. I want everybody to go with me. Okay, Chef Jay, where you at on live? Okay, here you go. I want everybody to go with me. And so the people that are closest to you, you always give the first invitation. Jesus invited the three before he invited everybody else. And so that's what you want too. But sometimes it is so funny. I was sitting the other day and I had extended an invitation to some people that were close to me and they didn't take it. And I was just like, what do I do now? And it was just like, open it up to other people. That's simple.
Listen, you already know I'm the king of like. So one thing I don't
You are.
believe in.
I know what you're about to say. You are the king of it. Go ahead.
So for me, it's just like the Bible talks about for whosoever will, right? So when it comes to stuff like that, I think sometimes we try, like how we offer to our friend circle first. The first people I go to is my friend circle. Before I promote anything else, before there's any opportunity, I'm always going to go to my friends first because I just believe in having loyalty to your friends. But once I see that thing shifting and you're not about that life, I'm quick to say, hey, it's time to pivot. I love you because you're my friend, but I can allow you being stagnant to cause me to miss out on what I know is meant for me to have. So once I learned that part too, it's not meant for everybody to come along with you. You give the opportunity to your people first, and then you go outside. And it's no love lost. I promise you, it's no love lost. But you have to always put in perspective of what's the why of what you're doing, and that's what we talk about all the time is having clarity and purpose about what you do already. Because when you have that clarity and purpose, it goes back to Stephen Covey. He talks about the living the time clock versus the compass. If I have a compass, right, and I want to invite people along the way, even if they say no, I still have to keep going with it without you.
Yes.
Because what we do is bigger than us.
Yeah.
Our goal is to share with so many other people to help them receive the clarity and purpose that they need to have in their life.
So I always tell my clients this, and I had to learn this the hard way. The vision does not change, even though the players do. The vision is still the same. The target is still the same. Even though the people that come along the way may change, the vision stays the same, because what happens is we'll think, because this person is no longer with me, that I now get the to abandon what I've been called to do, because I don't have this person. My ride or die decided to stop doing it, so I should stop doing it. It's like having workout partners. The workout partner after 3 weeks is like, I'm done, I can't do this no more. And you be like, all right, well, since I don't have an accountability partner, I'm gonna stop. No, you keep on going. You keep on going. You
I
know
think I'll
what
be
God.
picking people I know that's not going to be consistent.
You
Because
so
if they
silly.
give up first, well, I can give up now. But that's it. But that's the thing about it too, is like you have to find the reliable people, and it's just sometimes it's
Mhm.
hard sometimes, but it's like you got to keep going no matter what's going on, because
Yes.
you have to reach those goals. There's certain goals you
Yeah.
will never reach if you rely on people. You
Yes.
know, and one of my friends said to me at one point, she was like, Jay, you're always the first person to do something, right? And we
Always.
usually just kind of follow that. You know, so the thing about it, sometimes with your friend circle, you may have to be the first one.
You
But the
may,
thing
yep.
about it is, if you keep being the first one, you'll start being
Come
the
on
circle where
now.
you're the last one. And
Get a
those,
new
cause
circle.
yeah, so it's just like as you start moving on, you start to realize that hey, I may have been the first one out this first friend circle to do this, but as you start progressing in life, that's going to attract other people who are going to motivate you. You know, so now like, and I said over the last
Yes.
2 years, it's been that way where like, man, like when they say a gift will make room for you, by me being a chef, traveling so much with so many different people, that's been
Mhm.
one of the biggest blessings, because now I'm around people who inspire me to want to be better. You know, like last night I was at one of my clients' house. Her house is freaking huge, but it's not about her house. It's about what she made. First of all, she manifested that huge crib, but her house, every part of the house is about purpose. You
Mhm.
know,
I
she
like
has her
that.
photography studio downstairs. She has her product line in this area. So it's like when you think about expansion, you know, you got to realize that sometimes you have to be the first one to do it with or without your friends and in your family, and stop expecting them to support you. They're not the
Mhm.
ones that's meant to support you, because the reason why is, let's say for example, is I have a friend who I want to support me, but I realize what they do in their lifestyle is not conducive to where I want to go. They don't even have the capacity to support me. So stop
Mhm.
expecting people who don't support you, like your family. Are they supposed to support me? I may not want your support, because you may not be the best person for me to get support from.
Mhm. That's so good. That's so good. Listen, I was thinking about what you said about the friend circle and how you have to, well, let me go back to what you said about the support when it comes to your family and friends. And I remember a coach telling me, she was like, Natalie, money is like water. It needs to move. It needs somewhere to move and to go and
Hmm.
to flow. And a lot of the times when we are trying to have our friends and families be the ones to support us, we're keeping the money in this stagnant place, and it doesn't have anywhere
Yeah,
to go and move. And we have to let it breathe and let it grow and let it move. And we have to open it up. Like, your friends and families can't be the only one. If you're trying to make money from the people that you're called to break generational curses
yeah,
over, it's like you're bringing another curse to them. And we look at it like they're not supporting me. No, they're not called to do that. That's not their positioning. Get the right people in the right position,
yeah.
and then you'll start to see growth in your business and in
That's
all
right.
areas of your life, basically.
You know, it's so good you say that too about calls. So I realized too is that there's certain people that are called to my life, and there's certain people I'm
Hmm.
called to their life. And I
Yeah.
think too, we were talking about this earlier, how you know. So here's the thing about like friendships, right? There's some people who want to be your friend because they're attracted to what you have around you, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, and they may not really want to be your friend, but they like what you're attached to.
Come on.
When it comes to friendships, right? I realize that whenever I'm seeking a goal of something, the person that's
Hmm.
aligned with that same goal will naturally come into my life. Like
Hmm.
I don't have to force friendships, but it's crazy how some people force friendships, and it's like, hey, you know, honestly, your friendship may be good for just maybe hanging out,
Yeah.
you know. But there are some friendships who are good for business, and I categorize my friends like a long
Yes.
time ago. My friends, you know, one of my friends, we didn't have a fallout, but it just was I didn't have the right perspective of who they are in my life. So once I realized and respected who they are in my life, I never
Hmm.
tried to put them in a circle that they're the supportive one that comes to the events. They're the supportive
Oh,
person that it's a great opportunity to hang out with, because they're funny as hell. So it's like, yo, we have a good time every time. So let me just
that's so
leave you
true.
right there, that when I need to have a good time, We about to just chill, have a good time. But there's some people who's like, hey, we express the innermost journey of success. Like for example, Natalie and I
Yeah.
have been friends for 20 years. No, 22 years.
22
Mm-hmm.
years.
All right. Even though I
A
look
long time.
older, she's older than 22. All right. She's actually older than me. I just look older. So with this gray hair. So what happened is our friendship developed because one, we had the same desire to really please
Yes.
God, and we had the same desire to grow in life. No matter how far we got, no matter what country Natalie lived in, no matter how many them kids she had, like no matter whatever we had going on, no matter what kind of business I was doing, what job I was doing, we always still had the same desire, so we were always still connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Come on
now
now.
in this season now where we're doing this whole podcast situation is we both were looking for people to be consistent with about growing our mentoring companies. It all started
Mm-hmm.
from 22 years ago. The purpose never changed, but now it's just
Woo!
like the instrument changed because we were always connected in that way. There's some people that you're not meant to be connected to with certain things, so stop trying to connect them when they're never not meant to go to that phase with you. And there's no love lost, fam. Like this is just not what we're meant to be connected with.
You said something that's so powerful that we forget. You said they were never meant to go through that phase with you.
Yeah.
Listen, even though we were connected, we had separate pathways to get back to this point. And it was
Hmm.
never like, oh, Chef Jay, why are you not calling me? Or, oh, Natalie, you can't. It was never that. It was just the understanding of we're going to grow in our respective areas. And we
Hmm.
came back together when we were at the appointed time. So a lot of the times we're holding on so tight to people and
Yeah.
we're stifling them and we're not allowing them the growth because you listen. I heard this morning that sometimes we need to let people go because they are actually plotting our demise because our success it although it inspires, it ignites some things within other people that's not
Yeah.
good. And they have to purge themselves from that in
That's
order to
good.
stay connected to you. You do not want to have somebody who is secretly jealous of you in your circle that's plotting your demise. And sometimes we have to let them go for a
Yeah.
season. It's not going to be forever. It's just for a season so they can develop themselves. I had to let go of certain people in a season because I was jealous of them. I'm be honest with you. I
Mm.
saw what they had and I said, God, why didn't you give me, why didn't you give me that? Or
Yeah.
I
That's
wanted
good.
that. And God removed me from them. They may have removed themselves, but I don't know. But God removed me from them so I could heal. I
Yeah.
had to heal. And sometimes we're holding on to these friendships with people and they need to heal apart from us. And then later on they would come back. But in that phase, you have to be mature enough. That's the word. You have to be mature enough to know when, who, and how. That comes with clarity and purpose.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy you say that because I was friends with someone for this is my very best friends. We were friends for from 19. I was 19 years old when I met the baby 18 until 20, maybe 27 or 28. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so crazy because the way our friendship ended, it had nothing to do with us. It had everything
Wow.
to do with the altercation of them not being able to emotionally and intelligently know how to decipher what was going on. And I gave them
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to say, "Hey, let's talk in a little bit. Let's just like let this ride over and let's talk then." But they were so adamant because one, their motives weren't pure. But when I think about it
Mm-hmm.
now, and it's funny as Lady knew both of us, she said it seems like once you stop being friends with this person, your business just soared. And it's
Wow.
crazy
Ooh.
because I found out like they were talking about things about my business, but and it was
Mm-hmm.
the thing about it was I think that they didn't see they saw who I was from the beginning, but they weren't
Yes.
instrumental to my growth because
Yes.
it's just like it was always a hint of jealousy. And I would
Yes.
say, like, bro, you have everything. I had to work for everything that I had. So it's just like sometimes people are just they can't be connected to you in that season because they're envious not of you, but what the gift that you
The
have.
gift. The
And it,
gift.
and it only is it's only jealousy because they're not operating and finding clarity in what
Come
they
on.
have. But
That's
the
it.
moment you start to have clarity and start embracing the gift of God on your life, it's so hard to even have time to be jealous of somebody.
Exactly.
Like I find that when I find myself, and it's like when I found myself being, let's say if that spirit of jealousy kind of comes up on me, or I start feeling like, well, I should be here, I start to realize that, hey, you're right exactly where you need to be. So just
Mm-hmm.
chill out and enjoy the process, because the more you start
Yes.
to focus on what you don't have, the more you don't appreciate who you
What
have,
you
what you
do
have,
have.
and where you're
Yes.
going.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And um I wrote down something that you kind of said. I don't know if you said it when we were offline because we were talking beforehand,
Yeah,
but I wrote it down and it's going to be part of my confession. Like somebody else's confusion and chaos will not cloudy my clarity and purpose.
yeah, that's good.
Someone else's confusion and chaos, I will not allow it to cloudy my clarity and my purpose
Mhm.
because I have something that needs to be fulfilled in the earth. There's too many people attached to the sound of my voice.
That's
There's
good.
too many problems that I am the solution to. Listen, y'all, if y'all are listening to us right now, you are the solution to a problem that currently exists or will
Hmm.
exist in the earth. And it's imperative that you get clarity and purpose. Understand your purpose so that you can move forward as the
That's good.
solution instead of creating more problems for other people to solve. What
You know,
happened?
go ahead. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. I want to talk
I,
about
I think it's going to go about what happened. Yes, yeah.
okay, go
So
ahead.
it's so ironic that you're saying that part, because I was kind of leery about if we want to talk about this, but
Hmm.
Natalie, being that you are a parent and we're both former educators, in the sense of being in the school, when you think about what happened with the young man who chose to go into the school in Texas and did the things that he did, and then there was one post that said that he was bullied as a kid.
Hmm.
Hurt people hurt people. First off,
Period.
hurt people always hurt people. But I think about the reason why I started my mentoring program for young people. I noticed that when I was teaching in Jersey City, where I'm from, there was like a cloud over these kids, just a cloud.
Hmm.
And not saying it was a good or a bad thing, but the thing I realized that, and I would go to the break room and hear the teachers talking about how bad this kid is, how bad this kid is.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
kid is not this. Did you see what that kid
Come
looked
on.
like today? I'm like, man, this is from the teachers, right? So when you
Yes.
start thinking, it's not blaming anybody, but it's
Nope.
just like for some people, they have some kids have a negative condescended towards them already. Like some kids just have so many issues, right? And I remember when I first started teaching in a white school district, the first year I started teaching, and the first 3 months, one of the kids committed suicide,
Hmm.
and I was just like, man, Josh, go back to refocus on your purpose. Not saying you can save everybody, but some things transpire. Like the reason why I started my whole coaching business for young people was because I saw a need. I saw a need that no one really wanted to work with some of these kids. They were like a group of throwaways, quote unquote. So it bothered me because I'm like, man, Josh, you have been blessed with so much at a young, early age. How can you get what you receive to these young kids to help them identify their purpose? So when you have a kid who doesn't, they fall through the cracks. And sometimes in education, it's so easy for kids to fall through the cracks that
Yes,
people
it
don't
is.
see their problems that they have. They don't see all the stuff about this kid, because we have so much work as teachers. But as a teacher, I've prided myself on finding the gift in these kids, because if I can help them find their gifting and get clarity of that gifting, their life will never be the same. Now, referring back to this young man who did what he did, is just like, man, who came along in your way to really help you find your purpose and your clarity? Who? Because once you are exposed to clarity and purpose, you
Mm,
can't unsee what you see.
you
It's so
cannot.
hard to go back to regular the mindset you had beforehand. And now you made a good point about this when our conversation about this earlier, where you were talking about. So I just want you to kind of express that part too, because that was so good.
So the funny part was Ariana Staten. She just said, "Hey, Miss Martin, this was one of my former students. This was the last time she was in the class with the last time I was actually in a physical classroom.
Oh wow.
And unfortunately, she was one of the students that they used to like bully her a lot of the times. And I would intervene and I would have conversations with them. And they
Mm-hmm.
would say certain things. And I was just like, no, you cannot, you will not in front of me. You will
Yeah.
not at
Mm-hmm.
all. I'm not about that life because what people don't realize is your words matter.
Yeah.
They don't understand how powerful you telling somebody that they're stupid, that they will never make it, that this is, I wish you were dead. These are things that kids say to each other. And I don't care if they're in the first grade and y'all are like, my sweetie pie. Kids say these things. I wish you would die. I remember having a student in the same class, not the same class, but the same grade. He came to me and he said, Miss Martin, I don't understand why they call me gay. I don't even know my sexuality. They've been calling me gay since I was in the first grade. I didn't even know what gay was, and people were calling me gay in the first grade.
Wow.
And he took that on. And so when somebody comes as an adult and say, stop acting like a girl, stop talking like a girl, don't move your hand like a girl, he has something embedded in his mind that something is wrong with me.
Yeah, that's good.
And now they everybody don't act out the same way. Some people act out, or they open the door to murderous spirits. That's what I was talking to you about earlier.
Yeah.
Like when you are confused, when you don't understand your purpose, you open the door to these different spirits. I was watching the NBA tip-off last night, and one of the announcers said, and this is not the NBA tip-off, they're about to play basketball. These are not Christians or whatever. I don't know. They didn't claim anything. He said, it's a demonic spirit. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to keep it real. This is demonic. And I said, and national television, he's like, this is demonic. I'm like, if somebody on national TV could see this, how come the church can't see it? How come the rest of us can't see that this is demonic? I know he has, as a person, that person has the responsibility, but you open the door to these demonic spirits, these murderous spirits, when you don't have clarity, when you continue to operate in your trauma, when you do not face what you have been dealt with, or if you are an adult or a mentor or a coach and you don't show up for your clients and be real with them and say, this is what you're dealing with. This is what I see in you. This is what you can become. As a coach, as a teacher, as an educator, we have the responsibility to show them who they really are, not who they see currently. And who you are as a 12-year-old, as a 10-year-old, as a 5-year-old is not who you're going to be at 25 and 35 and 45 years old. As you become mature, as you understand your purpose, you get more clarity, you realize, I'm not here to create more problems. I'm here to create solutions and to be a solution in the earth. And so I'm done on that rant because
no, but I agree with you.
Made me mad.
And I look at even like yesterday when I was at my client's house, one of my mentees had FaceTime me. So we were talking about he wants to start like he wants to start a business part, right? I'm so proud of him, and we had a good conversation about it. But it's just like this is a kid who was like thrown away in school, because he had like ADHD. And it's just like nobody wanted to work with him because they felt like he couldn't get it. But I'm like, man, the fact that he has somebody to call to and to really like kind of navigate their ideas is priceless. So when you really start thinking about what you want to achieve in life and where you want to go, it's so important to have coaches. Like for me, I have coaches. I have coaches for different areas of my life, and I plug into them. Cause think about my that's my old student right there too. The one who keep commenting.
I'm trying to comment back to him. We got our old students on here.
No, but it's just so cool. Even to like even with him, like he can reach out anytime. So I love the fact that being a mentor and being a coach has been one of the greatest blessings. Because the thing about coaching, it's like they coach me indirectly too about how to be a better person. I think sometimes too it's just that we're so hooked on living life based off the time clock that we don't really take time to really analyze what's really going on in our life. Self-reflection is one of the biggest things to do, not just an entrepreneur, just as a person. What are you doing every day? Like I like to analyze how the day went. Josh, that went cool, but what can you do differently? It's so important to really take time to think about what you're thinking about, because what goes on in our life is like the other day my pastor always does this thing where he'll say count to 10 in your head, but then he'll say your name verbally. What happens is the way you battle thoughts that are negative thoughts is by speaking to the thoughts to say, hey, no, this doesn't belong to me. So for example is, let's say I'm thinking about like what's been going on this week is just like, okay, how to go over how to really start so I'm thinking about just stressful things. Basically, whatever I was thinking about was just stressful things. And I had to stop myself, say, no, I'm more than a conqueror. No, I can have this thing because I deserve it. I deserve to
Yeah.
live in abundance. I deserve to not live in lack. So whenever I have thoughts that are really going against what I'm believing, I take time to one. First of all, I feel like as a person, you gotta have a tool belt of arsenal. Like where if I know I have this issue, I see that screw being loose. Let me put my screwdriver to it and say, no, I'm more than a conqueror.
Exactly.
Because things start to fall apart, and the way you get to fall apart is by speaking the words to attack the things that are going against what you're
Come on.
believing for. So I know that something I'm believing for now is like my goal is to make 10K every single day because it's
Hmm.
something I want to get accomplished. So when I see no days where it's like a week of just like no income, I said, oh no, that doesn't belong to me. I deserve to be prosperous. Because for me is money has a purpose in my life, and first of all, is the first thing I always do is bless people with my resources. And there's certain I want to have a greater reach, so I know that I need money to do that. So for me, it's like I have to always take off the spirit of lack off my life because
Hmm.
there. I think when you're born into it, and when you're born into
Yes.
uh, a lack of resources, it's like you always go back to that mindset. Well,
Yeah, that's your
I
default.
didn't have it then. Like it's like a default. So for
Hmm.
me is I take time every single day to renew my mind to know that hey, no, I deserve this. So I don't deserve to live a life where I'm not happy. Some people who grew up in an unhappy environment, they go back to that depression state, but it's like, wait, just because you were born into it don't mean you have to stay and live in that.
That's so good. Just because you're born into it doesn't mean you have to live in it. That is
Yeah.
so good. Listen, the funny thing is, I was talking to a client this morning
Hmm.
and I was talking about, so with me, I love my GPS in my car. And so it's just automatic. I just put on my GPS wherever I'm going. And so with Apple now that it automatically syncs based on your time and your habits. So
Yeah.
if I get in the car at 3 o'clock, it automatically the GPS goes to my daughter's school. And so if I am not thinking about what I'm thinking about, I will
Yeah.
get in the car. And because the GPS automatically syncs to my habits, it will take me to the school and I'll be at the school like, why am I here? This is what happens when we don't think about what we're thinking about.
Yeah.
Because you grow up in a poverty mindset, because you grew up in a mindset with lack, because you grew up with trauma, your
Hmm.
automatic default, if you don't start thinking about your thoughts, is going to come into play. And you're going to want and have a desire to do better because you're not checking your
That's
mindset and
good.
your state of mind. You're automatically going to go like I do to default. And you have to constantly reset and reprogram. That's why we talked about in the first one about your routine being so powerful, creating those habits because your
Hmm.
mind, people don't realize your mind actually expends energy. Thinking takes energy. That's why you can
Yeah.
think for a long time and get tired.
You
So
get a
what your
headache.
body does, no, for real, your body tries to use as little energy as possible. So it creates habits and routines in your mind. So it's not expending that much energy.
That's
Your
good.
body is a mechanism that can go on autopilot. Your mind is a mechanism that can go on autopilot. But now you have to take off the autopilot and say, I'm in control. I'm going to steer this ship. I'm going to take you where I want to take you. And it takes thinking about your thoughts. That's right there. That's so powerful. I'm sorry. I get riled up when I hear thinking about your thinking because
No, because it's so true though, and I
it's
think too is just
true.
that like a lot of times too is like one of my friends was speaking the other day, and he was just stressing up about what didn't even manifest yet.
Yes.
And we were talking about it. He was just so bothered by what he has to do, and I'm like, bro, you didn't even go through it. You got a whole month to get where you need to go. Like, but your
Exactly.
negative thoughts have stressed you out. Like, negative thoughts create stress. Thinking about
Yes.
lack creates stress. Like all that stuff.
Yes.
And as an entrepreneur, I have to consistently take my mind out of just drama. Like I had to say,
Mm-hmm.
like when I was talking to you before we got on this call, I had to tell someone that, hey, I don't even want to be your friend because the way I
Mm.
see you moving is going to go against what I'm working on in the
Yes.
long haul. And
Yes.
sometimes we're cool with people, and I think too is we don't think about who will they be in my life.
Mm.
What kind of attraction will they have to my life? Because some people are attracted to what looks good about you, but then when it comes to the nitty gritty,
The
what
work.
about them will stop you from
Yeah.
progressing? Because listen,
Yeah,
you don't always just rub on people; they rub off on you too. There's certain practices from other
exactly.
people that rub off on you. So it's so impactful to be strategic about who you have in your circle. There are some people who I don't even pick up the phone for. It's not intentional. No, it is intentional actually. I don't pick up the phone because I just know that the drama that they're gonna bring. If I have to look at my phone and say, do I feel like taking this call today?
Woo!
And it's so many people we feel that way about. It's like, honestly, I don't. So let me stop trying to save people's feelings when I know that honestly your energy is bringing me down. Like I'm not made to be a garbage can, so I can't allow you to dump garbage on me. Because now I start to I didn't even get to a sense of process what I gotta do. I gotta process what you're dumping on me before I get to what I'm supposed to do. And the first priority should be, what do I have to do today? And then I can incorporate everybody else. Because if I'm on a GPS, like you said earlier, I'm going to a direct destination. And there are some people who come into your life that will take you away from the direct destination you are assigned to go on.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I am not a garbage can. I'll be having to repeat what you said because you be like just dropping stuff. I am
Silly.
not a garbage can. You can't just dump your problems on me. And you know what it is? I'm gonna be honest with you because I have the same problem that I'm working through. It's easier to carry somebody than it is to inspire them to follow you. So it's
Yeah,
easier to pick them up and carry them, and or so we think, than it
that's
is to
good.
inspire them to follow us and do what we're doing. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be the exact same way, but we're giving you a blueprint of what it looks like to be successful. So for me, let me use a natural analogy. For my children, it's easier for me to clean up after them instead of assign them chores and go behind them and say, did you do your chores? Make sure you do your chores, and implement consequences if they don't do their chores, implement rewards, because now that makes me have to think more about and be intentional about how to implement this for them so that it inspires them to clean up instead of just being like, I'm just clean this up myself. I don't have to think about cleaning up. And I've done it for so long, and I've been taught to do it because my mama does that. She's so amazing. She'll clean up after us, but it doesn't help me inspire them to be better. I'm
Yeah.
just picking up the pieces that they, the mess that they have made. That's the same thing we do when we don't put the responsibility back onto our friends and back onto the circle that God has connected us to. We want to inspire them to do the work. We're coaches. But
Yeah.
realistically, we cannot do the work for our clients. We can give you the information,
That's
we can
good.
motivate you, we can inspire you, but the clients have to do the work. And those that do the work are going to see the results of the information that we share, the results of when we motivate and inspire them. They're going to see the results. They're
Mhm.
going to be reaping those benefits, not the ones that be like, oh, I couldn't do it, or you know what?
But it's the
So
truth. Like,
it's the truth.
I'm very empathetic, but I'm far from sympathetic. So if you about to tell me your woe is me situation, and you keep talking about that more than once, the next day you talk about it, the third day you talk about it, the first thing I'm gonna say, so what we gonna do about it? Because for me, it's just like I that's not my gift. Sympathy is not my gift,
That's
because it's
mine.
like,
I do the sympathy.
yeah. See, for me, and the thing about it too is the reason why it's not my gift is because I'm really working through my own stuff. Real
Hmm.
talk, I'm working through my own stuff. I'm looking at my bank account and like, Jay, you got to knock this out. I'm looking at, like,
Yeah,
what I have
yeah.
my mentees. I got to figure stuff out with them. I have to think about my family life, what's working out with that. I'm thinking
Hmm.
about, how I'm going to make sure I pay all my bills this month. I'm thinking about what trip I'm about to go on. So by the time you come with your drama about how you can't get $25 or whatever you need access to, I'm like, bro, I'm working on getting. I need like $15,000 by the end of this week to get this event space. And you talking about your $25, and it's not a comparison thing, but it's just like, I'm just not gonna complain. I'm just gonna get the job done,
Get the job
because
done.
I literally have no time to complain. If I vent about something, I'm a vent, right? My friends, I'll vent about it, but by the end of the day, I'm gonna have a whole plan of action going on. If you know me
Yeah,
well, that by the end of the
yeah.
conversation, we're gonna have a whole new venue. We're gonna have a whole new itinerary. We're gonna have and you know what I'm talking. We're going to, like, like, even too with our event that we're working on too, guys. Just a plug. We're having the Boss Up Boot Camp that's gonna be happening in Jersey City, where Natalie's
Jersey
gonna be coming from.
City.
Georgia, speak. I have 6 of my other friends going to be coming, and we're doing a dope conference. You can click the link in our
Yes.
bio to find out more about the Boston Boot Camp, and we're also doing the Juneteenth Day Party brunch the very next day. I always like to
Yeah.
have a good time, but we want to really help people really learn and grow. So that's why we're having this Boston Boot Camp in Jersey for the first one, and then we're going to be traveling
Mm-hmm.
thereafter. But that's just a little plug on that one. But just thinking about it's just like I'm at a place now where it's just like if your energy is contrary to where I need to go, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna hear from me no more. Or our
Mm-hmm.
conversations will be very, very limited to maybe it's one friend to this day from like maybe like 12 years ago. I only talked to her no, maybe like 8 years ago. I only pick up the phone for her 30 minutes a week. And after that 30 minutes, if you take all the 30 minutes on Sunday, I ain't talking to you again the next week.
That's good though. You put the boundaries there. That's so
Yeah.
good.
It's like Josh is always so busy. I'm like, yeah, I got a lot going on. But I do. It's not a lie. I do.
Yeah.
And you wait on me longer than 30 minutes. I can only take 30 minutes of you.
But you know your capacity, and
That's
that's
good.
what a
Yeah.
lot of us need to understand. What is your capacity? I had to realize that too. Like, what is my capacity for these things? I can only handle this amount of things a week. Like for me with my prophetic sessions. So I do prophetic sessions and it's free, but I was trying to do it all week long. I don't have the capacity for it all week. So now it's only on Thursdays from a certain amount of time. That's the capacity I have to prophesy and pour into you what God is saying. And the other times I have other things going on. For my friendships, I only have a certain capacity as far as friendships are concerned, because if I go over that capacity, I will not give you what you require in a friendship. I don't have it in me to
Yeah.
go beyond that capacity.
Especially
And
when you're
I'm
not
not,
adding.
yeah,
If you're not
exactly.
adding,
There's
it
no
makes it very difficult to keep
reciprocities.
pouring.
Yes.
Like I can talk to some friends all day, every day, but it's because it's a what's the word? Reciprocity? Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
where we're both giving. We're both giving. So now it's
Yes.
like it don't
Yes.
feel like this friendship is a burden because we're
Yes.
both offering the same service in different areas
Mm-hmm.
of our life. So I don't feel like Natalie, we talk almost like every day now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's not a burden to talk to Natalie because we're always talking about expansion and growth and like funny stuff too. Because we both silly, we love to laugh. So it's like when people don't have that same energy, it's like you don't get a part of my day-to-day activities because some people deserve an invitation, some people deserve a bill. What I mean by that is there's some people who
Ooh!
deserve to be invited into your life, but there's certain people who need to pay to get access to you. And the payment may not be always be a financial thing, but it's just like even too like if I'm talking to Natalie about ideas that we're brushing off each other, that's one thing because we're both given that. But if a client is coming to me, I have to charge you because it's just like for me to give if I'm gonna give you an idea that's gonna make you $100,000, I'm gonna charge you for that. Like I have a fee for that because I
Mhm.
know for a fact that I'm gifted to give. I'm gifted to see the vision in people and to see their purpose in their gifts in each of their gifts. I know that's part of what I do, but it's like you're not gonna keep coming and not sowing the seed into what I'm giving you, especially if we don't have the reciprocity. Is that the word? Yeah, I think it's the word.
Yes, you got it right. It's not a
Like
reciprocal relationship.
if it's not that situation, there's some things that we may not be able to click on, and it's okay. It's really okay, and there's no love lost because you go to places and you pay the full price. You go to a Beyonce or a Jill Scott concert, and you don't be like, oh, let me barter your concert and give you this. Wait, hold on. Who says I even need what you have to offer me?
Mm,
So it's just like as you're on the journey of success and finding your path, you will know how to handle a person based off of you just having your own clarity. Once you have clarity, you know how to
yes.
handle people that come into your circle, into your life. But it
I
takes you really
love
having
that.
clarity. So
Yes. And purpose. So
and
you can't
purpose.
have clarity without purpose. So I love working with Chef Jay because I feel like you're the one that's like, I'm the one that's like, okay, you got trauma. Let's sort through this trauma, get it together. And then we send him to Coach Jay and he's like, all right, what's the plan? What's the plan? But when it comes to coaching, a lot of the times, like you got to go to him first because if you have no purpose, how
Yeah.
can you get clarity from me? Clarity on what?
Yeah. You gotta get the
You
aggression,
know
then
what
you
I
get the
mean?
sweetness.
Yes. It's like you need to get what is your purpose? What are your gifts? Then you come back to me and we get clarity on what your gifts and how you can pursue that and your messaging and all that other stuff. But you need to know, why are you here? What's the
Yeah,
foundation? What has God called you to do? Look at your history, your story. What has always been coming up throughout the years,
that's
and
good.
really hone in on that, because you have the answer. A lot of the times we're really searching outside of ourselves to find something that's really hidden on the inside. But you
Mm,
got to look within and say, who am I? What am I here for? You're here for a reason. The fact that you're breathing, the fact that you woke up, is because you have a purpose in your life.
mm.
What is it? What is that purpose?
And that's the key too. Like when you really take time to start like really finding a purpose, it becomes when you take time to really find out your purpose, life becomes not easy, but things become clearer.
Yeah.
Right. So I think too, and that's what I realized too, is like the things I used to stress over 5 years ago, yesterday, last month,
Nope.
10 years ago, I don't stress about because one,
Not anymore.
I have my trust. One, I know that God called me to do this, the first thing. So if I know if I'm called to do it, provision will always be made, even if it's not made to the day before or the
Mm-hmm.
second before. I know that I was called to do it, and I'm going to be focused to do it. There's been certain events where nobody showed up, right? But I know I was purposed to do that because I learned something about that. That okay, maybe I need to learn how to promote better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have to manage my time better to where I can really go through different avenues. Maybe I need to collab with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, so when and it's not even about saying you failed, but you just have an obstacle to overcome. So the more you start to focus
Mm-hmm.
on uh, having clarity, everything else in your life works. The more clear
Everything
you
else.
are, the more clarity you have, the easier it is to find your purpose. But sometimes it's so much
Yes.
going on in our day to day stuff that it's hard to realize that. Like for me, I know personally having a job long term is not for me. The reason why
Same.
I say that is because I'm very passionate about what I do. So
Yeah.
I'll get so involved in the job
Come
that
on.
I'm like, it will take me away from the time I'm supposed to spend on my, like even too, like for example, is to do this podcast. I know right now when I was teaching, I could only do 20 minutes just because 12:20 was my cutoff time. So I couldn't do a whole hour because I know that
Yes.
time wouldn't allow it because my time had to be divided somewhere else. That's not everybody's story. That's my story. But just know that I hustle a lot to make sure I have what I need. So if it's what I want, just know that I'm going to put the effort about it. So there are a lot of things that people say they want, but they really don't want to do the work. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so like if you like, when my friend said to me like before, she was like, Josh, I can make them as much money as you do, but I don't want to work that hard. And I appreciate her being honest about that because like I do work hard, like where I literally work 24 hours a day. You know, sometimes I be texting Natalie, I'm like, oh man, her and her husband together. I don't know if I should text. You know, like it may be 2 o'clock in the morning. The idea may come, but it's just like
Yeah.
I know she'll respond when she get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I think too when you are dealing with partnerships, you got to know how to not be evasive of somebody's space because some things will come to you as a blessing. But if
Wow.
you are not mindful of the whole situation, you can
Wow.
mess it up by being a lot to deal with. There's some rooms I'm in, I can't put my phone on record. There's some rooms I am where that conversation is our conversation. I can't share with somebody else because
Woo.
people love when you're not evasive, but they feel like they can trust you. When people can trust you, you get access to everything that they have. And it's not saying you're a user, but who said that you had to pay for the gift of the gift exposure in your life? Like for me, I feel like I had to pay for stuff, but I was always blessed to be in circles where people wanted to pick up the tab because they believed in what I had. There's some gifts that you like, how I'm gonna pay for this dream, how I'm gonna pay for this goal. Who says you had to pay for it? It's not the how I'm gonna pay for it, it's to let me be busy and fruitful about what I have going on that God called me to do and allow everything else to pay for itself.
So I'm writing down some stuff because you said some really good things. And I feel like we're gonna have to dive into this next week. And it's really about EQ and self-awareness. And
Yes.
I know there are a lot of corporate companies that are hiring consultants and coaches to actually help um their their employees gain a little bit more, EQ or self awareness about them, because you said you have to understand the rooms that you are in and that every room doesn't deserve, or every room should not get every aspect of you.
Yes.
And like, you know that in some areas you can be too much to handle. And so
Yeah.
not that you tone it back, but you're mindful of the room that you're in.
Yeah.
Because if you expose all of who you are, it's now going to become a burden instead of a blessing that God intended it to be. And that's understanding who you are, where you're positioned, and what room you currently reside in. And
That's
a lot
good.
of people talk about seasons and my timing and my season, but what room are you currently in?
Yeah.
Where are you sitting right now? That plays a big difference. A lot of us like to go into, and I heard TD Jake saying, when you go into a new room, you don't open your mouth and talk everything, because you so,
Observe.
and that's the Bible too. You show how foolish you really are, because you
Yeah.
don't really know what room you're in.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
good.
go into, the White House and then just begin to be like, yeah, clarity, da, 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 like, boo boo, we've been here a long time. We know what's up. You need to be quiet, peruse the land, understand where you're at, and then you can add your input and look as wise as you are, instead of the fool that you showing
That you
everybody to
acted out to
be.
be.
Because
No, but
because you
that's
don't know
good.
what room you're in.
Yeah,
We
that's
got to get
good.
into EQ on another
That might, but you know what though,
another
and it just,
podcast.
and I'm gonna talk about that next week. But I know that it's just so. What I've learned, one of my clients said to me, she said, the reason why we love having you here, and mind you, a lot of people I cook for, who got bread and you're in their
Mm-hmm.
personal space, one, they only let people in their personal space. That's the first thing.
Yes.
But I've been told this more times than one. We just love having you here. Like when you're not invasive of our space, it's like you're
Mm-hmm.
here, you're not here. But it's just like, when to
Wow.
chime in and when to be quiet. And I realized that
Yes.
too is when you keep talking, you have no time to hear. So you have to be mindful of when the moment is for you to talk and when's the moment for you to be silent, because when it's silent, you're able to hear even a pin drop. And when it comes to being around my mentors, like when they start talking, I shut up until they ask me to talk. Because I know for a fact is that, okay, I have to listen, because how can I grow if I don't plan to listen? And when you're so used to just like, and for me, like our business is talking, Natalie. That's what we do for a living. From
Yeah.
teaching to be an
Yep.
entrepreneur, um, we talk all day. But you have to realize the room that you're in. There's some rooms that you're meant to be quiet and let the person who is the head person minister to you and
Yes.
hear what they're saying. Because if you're
Ooh.
so busy talking, you miss the gems you were supposed to get.
Exactly. And that's why some of us show up depleted, and
Yeah.
we don't have the capacity, because it's not because you weren't created with the capacity. You won't shut up long enough to get what you were supposed to receive. Listen, I
That's
know I've
good.
been there where Holy Spirit be like, shut up. And I'm like, okay, because I'm over talking him.
But
So
it's so
some
easy.
places you
It's
got to
so
be
easy, but
quiet.
it's about having that clarity, and that's why I love
Yes.
like what we talk about
Yes.
clarity and purpose coaching, is because the first thing you have to do is to get clarity. You have to just
Mm-hmm.
sometimes be quiet.
Quiet.
Once you're quiet, sometimes you'll allow the Holy Spirit to download inside of you what He needs to
Yes.
get. But if you're too busy talking,
Mm.
you won't receive the manifestation of what you need, because you might have been stressing this whole time about something that if you would have been quiet, that one
Wow.
word you needed would have been dropped and given to you. It's like, fam, just shut up. Just let the perfect work happen and it comes to completion. But it's just what I realized too is that's why self-analyzing every single day will bring you to the next level. So I'm like, okay, cool. Today, if I'm going into this room, like tomorrow I have this meeting with the school, and I'm just gonna be quiet until they, because the thing about it is too, last time I was just quiet, and then when they asked me to speak, they gave me an opportunity to mentor there at a nice salary just by me just
Wow.
being quiet to hear. Because when you're not quiet, you can't hear the need. There's
Woo!
always a need in
Say
everything
that
that you
again. Say
have.
that again. You
No, but
have to say it
no.
again.
If you're not quiet, you can't hear the need. So, for example, especially like going to the classroom, right? Natalie and I've been teachers for I think over 20 years, right? No, we've been teaching. I've been teaching for 10. You've been teaching for like 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes to our students, right? If we're always talking, we don't know what they need because we don't give them the opportunity to say what they need indirectly or directly. So once I know what the student needs, now I can assess the problem because I took time to just take a breath. Let me hear what you have to say, because I'm gonna learn from you and you're gonna learn from me, but I have to also just take time to just to see la. Like the Bible where see la. Just chill out, process, and listen.
I don't got nothing. You're not gonna catch me looking like a fool.
Yeah, but it's just a reality. The rooms I've been blessed to be in these last 2 years, because these past 2 years have been super dope. 2020 was the greatest year for me. I know that's for some people
Yeah.
it was a hard year. Sometimes it was a good year, depending on your perspective of it. I know we lost a lot of loved ones, but when I start
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it, it's like wow, like I pivot. You gotta learn how to pivot and prosper. But pivot and prosper comes when you are just silent. And it's just like how like I
Mm-hmm.
love Natalie. And Natalie has her prayer time, right? You can't get through to Natalie on I think it's Friday morning, whatever day it is, you can't. She said, no, this is my Bible study time. I'll contact you after 12. But I appreciate that dedication, consistency, because I take her more seriously because I know she
Mm.
sets time apart to one communicate with God before she do with anybody else. Her kids, her husband, like she makes time to literally communicate with God, and it inspires me to go back to how I was in my relationship with God. Like,
Mm.
no, fam, you got to take time to really just sit and listen and allow God to minister to you. And it's not about just making it so churchy, but it's just that's real life.
That's
If
the
you don't, if
reality
you're
of
never
it.
quiet, you never let God download stuff into your spirit because He's always talking. We just talking too much over Him. You started it with this conversation. I was just minding my business.
No,
You
this is
started it.
so good. Look, we're gonna continue this conversation next Wednesday, like we always do. We're gonna be here. Y'all know we will. But I just want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity because this Boss Up Boot Camp is going to be phenomenal and
Yes,
you
it
do
is.
not want to miss this. Listen, Chef Jay contacted five other phenomenal people. I went and followed them on Instagram right away. I was like, wait, you know these people? I didn't know you know all these people. And the caliber of speakers that you're going to have at this event is going to be like none other. I didn't realize the access that you have given me to the roster of the
Wow.
people that you have on there because of who you are and what you do. And we cannot miss this moment to let you guys know that the
Because I was
Boss Up
quiet and I
Movement
listened to
is
them and
going
heard what
to
they had
be,
to say, and we
you
got
know what I
connected.
mean? Like, this thing is going to be amazing. Like, people are coming to teach us about credit. People are coming to talk to us about opportunities and how mentoring can pivot you into coaching and allow you to make money. Like, there's going to be so many amazing speakers that are coming through. People that are going to show you how to increase your social media following. Y'all, the two churchy people, I'm coming for y'all because y'all be like, followers don't matter. Jesus didn't say that.
It do.
Jesus never said
It
that.
do.
Jesus
He
had a
had 3,000 out. He had
following,
three
okay?
thousand people come every single night. The first day we were talking about
Every single
Pentecost, so
night.
it's like,
And he said, go back and make some more. Go
yeah,
bring some more people. So we have someone that's going to be positioned to help us with our social media following. We're going to, Chef Jay has really brought together a great lineup of people, including myself, that's going to help you move towards the vision and create a sustainable business that will be will
yeah.
outlast even you. So you want to be there in Jersey City on June 18th, the day before Juneteenth, which is the 19th, in Jersey City. So if you're in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, you
You
have
can fly in.
access. Yeah,
And it's also
exactly.
going to be a virtual component too. Like for the conference, going to be virtual. But
Oh
no,
yes,
like
you can fly
honestly,
in.
I strategically called every single one of these people strategically because I know the one that their gift is just going to really super. And I hate the
Yeah.
word "going to bless you" because like people use that so churchy, but it's true. Like I know all of my friends on this platform are going to be influential and really you. If there's just one thing you hear the whole day that will help you pivot and prosper, I know it's going to be something in that day.
Yes.
So
It's gonna be
so
more
for
than
regular
one.
from general admission is $297 and then $497 for the VIP. We have gift bags. Like we're working on everything to make sure it's gonna be super dope for that day. And then the next day we have the Juneteenth day party burnt. So, fam, until next week, we'll want to see you guys come to the event. But
Yes, definitely.
from now on, guys, just try to find clarity and purpose in whatever you do, and I promise you, your life will never be the same.
Never.
That was nice little ending. Okay. All right, guys, have a good week.
Oh man, I put the wrong thing in
You
there.
do, and I promise you, your life will never be the same.